Yeah, and you mentioned just a bit earlier as well that you don't always need to look what other fundraisers or NGOs are doing out there. You can look to the
No,
commercial world.
absolutely.
Do you have any examples of how you've looked to the commercial world for guidance in what you've been doing?
Well, I talked about going to American Express in the New York office, and one of the issues that the American Express office had was silos, because there's a problem had back at World Vision as well. What you tend to do is you have different um, areas of an organisation, and American Express had this issue. They had under the American Express, you have American Express Gold Card, Platinum Card, the Blue Card. You then have American Express Travel, American Express Insurance. You had all these areas, right? Under these areas were departments, and you had one database. No one talked to the other department, so they'd all just do these mail blasts to the database, and they would know that another department was also sending a mail blast to the same people. So, and World Vision wasn't any different. Basically, you had different areas. You had child sponsorship. You would have had auxiliary groups. You would have had a single gift. There were all different areas that were raising money in one database, and so everybody would just go, I want to do a mailing. Well, they didn't consider that maybe somebody else wanted to do the mailing to the same people, and so I wanted to see how American Express dealt with that, and the way they dealt with that, and has influenced me in an interesting way, in that what they said was, instead of having products and teams around products, they developed teams around people. Okay, and so they would have people who were, I don't know, different categories of clients, or and they would then have people, for example, from the different areas. So one from insurance, maybe from the Platinum Card, blah blah. And so they would have an integrated communication, and what I'd call a stream around a particular customer type there, and people. And so the product people were there to provide offerings, but around a customer type. That influenced, one of the ways that influenced me. By the way, breaking silence is one of the hardest things to do. Way that influenced me was the way in which then designed the way in which we communicate to donors. Generally, most fundraising departments work in the same way as that old American Express model. We have products. So we've got a major donor product, we've got a bequest product, we've got mailing product, we've got regular giving product, and they just blast away based on the goals set by that. And so you look at a 12-month calendar, and so for example, let's say your calendar is a financial year calendar starting July, going through to June, and then on the left-hand side of the column, you would then have different activities. So there'd be a direct mail activity, there'd be regular giving. But that, to me, is exactly what is not donor-centric. If you're donor-centric, instead of products going down the side, you'd have donors. And what's the appropriate communication for that group of donors? And so it may be direct mail, it may be face-to-face, it may be this, it may be that. And so the communication is around the donor and where the donor is now, and the journey you want to take them. Where do you want to take that relationship with them? It's sort of turning it completely on its head. That for me came out of what I think is best. Sadly, out of the commercial world, there's a number of things out of the commercial world. For example, surveys. Everybody's going to surveys. Well, I think that's a problem too, because surveys have been, I think, hijacked. Most people use surveys for fundraising. Surveys should not be used just for fundraising. If you look at the commercial, they really want to know: are you happy with the? Are you happy with the service? Are you happy with the, what was received? I mean, why isn't fundraising driving that? I mean, it's interesting now in the commercial world, you can't breathe without them sending a survey saying, what did you think of our service? What did you think? Are you happy? You got any recommendations? They want to listen to the customer. Whereas fundraisers say, no, we don't want to listen to the customer. We want to sell them more. So let's send them a survey so we can sell them more. I mean, no, you're sort of not doing it right.
Actually learning about the customer's needs, donors' needs, sorry, I'm getting caught between commercial now.
And I think that's the sad part for me, is that the commercial world, I believe, are leading us where I think if we're doing it right, because we don't have products to sell. We sell good feelings. We sell the joy of giving. That's what we sell. And it's got to be a joyful experience. We stuff it up with just the way in which we're so aggressive in our fundraising. So, just my personal.
Yeah.
One of the advantages of being a 39-year veteran is that I can be a grumpy old fundraiser. So.